This will be our one-year anniversary as pastoring the church. It was about as hot, if memory serves me right, as it was today, and we wanted to be up here to celebrate the occasion, and if you're wondering why I made you all sweat, that's the same reason. Just took a year to come around. But today, we're going to talk about service, and about God's calling all of us to service. There's many scriptures that talk about it throughout the Bible. And these two come right from Jesus about how he wanted his disciples to serve. You might know the one we just read, the one from John. It's a funny thing. We read just a few verses, but the entirety of that chapter is well worth the read. I especially love the intro and how they get into this, because you hear at the start of that reading them having just eaten something. Well, Jesus had this lovely interaction with Peter about what it meant to be his servant. Even as he's getting ready to ascend and depart them, Jesus still has something to teach Peter. But how did they get through all this? Well, Simon decided, hey, let's go fishing. I was going to say, many disciples were fishermen by trade, so they said, sure, we'll go with you. They go out and they don't get anything. They fish the whole night and not a thing ends up in their nets. And they come back and they see this dude hanging out on the shoreline. And they don't know who it is, but, somebody says, hey, did you catch anything? No, we didn't. Well, throw your nets out on the right side. Oh, okay, fine. And they do. And lo and behold, it's through that simple, everyday encounter that they realize that Jesus is still there, guiding them. And so Simon, being who he was, this kind of loud-mouthed, think before you leap kind of person, jumps out of the boat and starts swimming shore. And that is when he has this dialogue with the Lord. Again, many of you know it because it's very circular in its understanding. It's Jesus asking Simon, son of John, do you love me? And each time Peter says, yes, I do. And every time Jesus replies with something along the lines of, take care of my sheep, feed my lambs. He gives Peter the job of taking care of those that Jesus cared about so very much. And the thing is, it seems simple, but sometimes it's a difficult task. Because it takes on different forms. Because at its most basic and direct form, if you know anything about sheep, it can be easy to take care of. It's like any animal. It needs water and food and care, and you might want to protect it from some predators. By the same token, like every creature on earth, there's little nuances, little things with each individual animal, much less when we get to each person. We all have our unique characteristics that make us all something different. And it's only through somebody that knows you that you truly get that personalized care. As I was thinking about this whole one-year anniversary with you all, it really struck me because I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I don't think I ever told them how I was called to ministry. I think in personal conversations I had, but never right here from the pulpit. And so I thought, you know what? On this year-round thing, let's talk. Because maybe it'll help you understand how I see this verse and how meaningful it can be for all of us. So I was introduced to church at about 3 weeks old. Mom was tired of sitting at home on maternity leave. She said, you know what? We're going to church. So I started entering the Methodist church at that kind of age. And there I was. And that's where I remained. And so I went to church. I went to Sunday school. Went to Methodist camps. The whole night. It was really enjoyable. And so I thought about what it meant to be a Christian. And then, when I was in high school, just like every teenager up to the present day, you get asked that fateful question, what do you want to do with your life? But I had a couple things in mind. Studying from my earlier days in my youth, I thought, you know what? I want to be a dolphin trainer. I want to be one of those people at SeaWorld and swim with those dolphins. That's what I want to do. But I was going to fish in water. I was okay at it, but I wasn't that proficient. So, put that off the list. The next thing I had on my list, I thought, you know what? I could be a chiropractor. I had some links to my grandma and some of the ways I learned early on how to work backs and help get those knots out after those long years of service. And lo and behold, my high school had this day called Shadow Day. juniors to go and shadow a professional for one day. They give you off the day of school, so long as you have the paper signed, and off you go to a place. I went and shadowed a chiropractor. I thought it was the neatest thing, cracking those bones. Didn't bother me. I saw how healthy it made people. My own family went to a family chiropractor and had some good success. So I thought, you know what? This could be cool. My father rejoiced. Because he would have a chiropractor and a mechanic in his family. He was set. His car and his back would be fixed. But needless to say, as I thought about that more and more, I thought, you know what? My upbringing tells me I should think about this a little bit more. I should ask God if this is what He wants me to do. Because I don't want to outrule God and end up realizing I missed something several years down the line. So I prayed about it. Prayed, God, what do you want me to do with my life? What do you want? And it persisted for a little while. Eventually I did get my answer. But it wasn't when I was standing on the floor of a church. It wasn't when I was in a pulpit. I was actually at a lectern. I was sitting where Ruth was sitting. Whoa. Watch the amplification. Okay. I was up here. I was sitting down. I was getting ready to read something. My pastor liked to involve youth in the service. So I was sitting there getting ready to read something when all of a sudden I got my answer from God. Now it wasn't an audible voice like you're hearing me right now, but I heard it in my head nonetheless what the answer was. I heard God say, take care of my people. And I looked out at this congregation, this church family I had known all my life, who knew me from a wee little thing up to when I was then. And I said, yeah, okay. And so my family and I talked about it. I went off to college pursuing a religious degree, went to seminary, got that, and here I am today. The rest is history. Actually, it's still being written. But it was a simple call. Take care of my people. What does that look like on a day-to-day basis? It changes. That's what I've concluded after a year of being an official pastor. It changes day to day, not week to week. There's one thing I've learned, and I heard this from my mentor, and I realized the gospel truth of it recently. There is no normal week in ministry. It is different every week. And there's no pattern to it. There's a beauty in it. You see, taking care of God's people is different. Sometimes it means you're spending an entire week visiting people, whether it's in the hospital or at homes. Other weeks, it's your job to plan things and be a good administrator. Figure out what something will look like months, if not a year, down the road. Other times, it's about serving people. It's taking that moment to go grab a cup of coffee. Go grab something to eat. And sit down and talk with somebody. In fact, of late, I've realized, sometimes this get-up can put people off at times. I had lovely conversations with Kristen and Drew of late, and that was when I was coming to church just to open it up for them. And I'm in my athletic pants and a t-shirt, and we had this great old conversation. It's funny how that happens, that when God wants you to have a good moment, it really doesn't matter what you're in. You don't have to be looking your best. But I see that God's call to service for all of us, just like anything, can be varied and different. And don't get me wrong, all of us are called to service. But Jesus never promised that would be easy. If anything, He tells His disciples time and time again, it's going to be difficult. He wants to dispel that illusion that being a Christian, that being His follower, is going to be easy. But you see, I find encouragement in Scripture about that very point. That in spite of the hardships of being His faithful followers, He's with us. A year ago, I read you my favorite passage from Lamentations 3:23. That God's mercies are new every morning. Great is His faithfulness. I heard that echoed a bit today in our first lesson at the end of Matthew's Gospel. At the very end there, when Jesus gives them the Great Commission, go out to the whole world and make disciples in my name. At the very end of that, He says, and surely I am with you to the end of the age. Jesus said that more than once in the Gospel. He would always be with us. This is a man who wasn't shy about running into bad things. He dealt with some of the worst things in life, the worst kinds of hatred, of persecution, of prejudice, that took him all the way to a cross and into a tomb. And that's the same person that looks at all of us and says, I will be with you. I think he's seen the worst of life. I think he can truly take any of us through the difficulty of serving others in his name. So my encouragement to you all today is to celebrate that service. All of us are called to be God's servants to one another and to the